All right, there we go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. You are in the Java Cafe. It is the first Wednesday of the month. For those of you that are here looking for Mayor Wu, she will be here at 9:30. And just a note on that, for our legacy and major media partners, if you're going to cite anything, even from Alex and I's conversation about wealth and the summit, and also the conversation with the mayor, cite it properly. Please put a hyperlink. If you're going to screen record the video, cite it properly. I'm saying that from last month. I had to send out a few tweets, repost a few tweets of folks citing the fact that legacy and major media did not cite this community voice, independent, community-driven, non-professional platform. Y'all do me that favor and do that appropriately so. And so let's switch that energy. And it is a Wednesday. So it's usually we need to know Wednesday with Mayor Wu. We also need to know that we need wealth. There's a lot going on to fight us. There's a lot going on to mute voices. There's a lot going on to stop us from obtaining wealth. And so we have a young man here today that I've got to know. I've observed him for a few years, but I've got to know in the past year or so. He is actually my broker. There is a real estate agent that worked with me, but he is the actual broker. I've learned some things about that, and also going to learn some things about wealth and Alex as well. And I've already told him, do not start when he comes in the Java Cafe. So without further ado, we're going to bring this good brother in, Alex Edwards, who is a real estate mogul, a dad, a husband, a mentor, an encourager, a businessman, a homeowner. Did I leave anything for you to introduce yourself with?
TEDx author, published author.
Yes, bro. Flex, humble flex.
Human. That's a man that's black.
Come, sir. See, you already coming in starting. All right, brother.
I'm just putting it in order, just making sure,
Those are the priorities. So sorry for missing the most essential things this morning. But brother, please introduce yourself. Say hello to the audience. Some of you, some of them are familiar with you. I share, your videos here and there and just talk about Thumbprint Realty and everything that you do out in the community. So welcome finally, sir, to the Java Cafe. It is an honor to have you here. And so please say hello to the folks and we'll get started.
What's up, everybody? Mama, I made it. I'm in the cafe. I made it. But I'm happy to be here. I just want to say thank you to Jimmy, to your entire team, to your audience for I'm just happy to be here. I have my audience behind me as well. So it's just going to be a good conversation, and I'm just humble. I appreciate you.
That is one thing I observed about you. You are wealthy, and I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about just your orientation of family. I've heard a little bit of your story, and we're going to get into that in a second. But you were definitely humble, and I appreciate that about you. You're also someone that reaches back. You're someone that educates, and so that is definitely appreciated. And I'm excited to have you here because I know we're going to walk away with a lot of nuggets. And so what we'd like to know now, and Quincy is in the room, a couple of other folks, Real Boston Media has been talking about hearing about the summit as well. And so, bro, let's just jump right in. And what is an influence? What in your life, you're growing up, your family has influenced you to be who you are? Who is Alex?
That's a good question. Yesterday, I went to the McCormick and I did career day.
Okay.
And so we had about 5 different sessions they asked me the same question, and I had to sit back and think about it. We was poor, right? I didn't know we was poor because there was so much love in the house. To be
Yes, sir.
honest with you,
Wealthy.
I didn't even understand.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm like, it was almost some of my best times, right? We slept in one room. It was about seven of us with a heat and coats, but we was joking, we was laughing, we was. I mean, it was some of the best times ever. We never had heat, and yes, I just realized every time you come in my office is hot because I just wanted enough money to get heat, right? I'm gonna get a house with heat, and it's just the little things that I wanted that I didn't have. I want my own room, I want a house with heat, and I want to drink a bottle of soda, the whole thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was my goals at the beginning of my journey. It was just the little things and take care of my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like that was it. And because of the tough times, it definitely shaped me to who you see today. I could understand someone going through something because I went through it. So I could bridge the person I was to the person I am today. And a lot of people is where I was, and a lot of people is where I am today and beyond. So I could have an opportunity to bridge that. And I think that's what I wake up every day to understand. I am the bridge, and someone is going through something I went through, and someone is way past. Someone's already where I want to go, and that's what shapes me. To be honest,
It you didn't go as deep as you did that night that we were at Hibernian, and I got the opportunity to hear like a little more detail of your background, and it is definitely one that is humble, and I can appreciate the fact of what you wanted, and a lot of, and Alex, I have to be authentic and ask you because I know you can speak to it. When you talked about the fact that you didn't have heat when you were younger, and now your office is always hot, can we deviate for a minute? Because there's a mental health indicator there of often, and I know you can speak to this and don't have an issue. We bring a lot of what formed us into the present, and it's good, but in some cases, just when you made that analogy, and so can you speak to the mental health indicator of not having heat, and now you like it hot in the office and at home?
yeah, I mean, it's some trauma there. Let's be
Oh,
honest,
yes, sir.
right? And
Let's go. Yep.
yeah, it's one thing to understand yourself. You really have to love yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's dealing with the BS you have in you and the good you have in you. We have both, right? We have both. So, when I'm cold, I think about those nights.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
like, whoa, where am I going? I'm going back. I lost everything. It's like, what's going on right now?
It's
Right.
real.
And I've been cold for so long, Jimmy. I've been cold for so long. It's just eating waffles from the morning to dinner. Right.
Yes, sir.
It's been too long. So I'm like, all right, I want heat around me. I don't drink soda anymore, but I water all day. But it's just the trauma side, and I take care of my mom very well to make sure I used to see her walk all the way down to the bus stop, come home late at night. She had 3 jobs. She was never home trying to keep her home. How you never home trying to keep something you can't enjoy?
Sir.
Not understanding it was all for me. It's all for her children, right? So now, guess what? She's always home.
Mm-hmm.
She's always home. And guess what? She got a car in the driveway just in case she don't want to be home. And she don't know what bills look like. So it's that trauma could go a positive way in your life. Trauma's not always negative, right?
That's right.
I see my mom. Well, I don't want that. I don't want that ever. So what do? I have to work harder for her to never walk to that bus stop again. I have to work harder for me and her to have heat. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, sir.
it's again, we're talking about seeds. We're talking about the soil. That's the soil of Alex Edwards. It's like it's the the kind of the worst and best side, the side that really framed the person you see today, and the side that he been through a lot.
It's interesting when you talk about a seed and ground and growth. We know that if you ever farmed or gardened, sometimes there's some manure that makes the bro. Okay, we're going to stay we're going to stay focused here. And so one of the things that I
Yeah,
did not mention, you did mention that you're an author, and I believe that this contributes to your successful marriage. We have to say hello to two queens in your life. You tagged your mom, so she may be on. Is it Mother Edwards?
yes, correct.
Hello to Mother
Yep.
Edwards if she is on, and also shout out to your queen, Joanne as well, who is also actually she wound up being on Java with Jimmy before you a few months ago.
Yeah, I thank you for leading the way. You see that? I say, oh, sweetheart, thank you for leading the way.
So,
Yeah, look, my queen. Look. I know a true man knowing to follow and knowing to lead.
so
I let, I,
let's go there a little bit. Mortgage Before Marriage is the name of your
yeah,
book. And you have your own platform. You all go live, you go live, she goes live, and you talk about the relationship thing. But there is an essence in you that talks about focusing on the mortgage before marriage. Let's talk about that for a second, and then we're going to get into the summit.
all right. Mortgage before marriage, finances before fiance, Rockefeller before Beyonce, right? So love is overrated.
Hold on. Say it again just a little bit slower so we make sure we got it for the people in the back.
Got you. Mortgage before marriage, finances before fiance, Rockefeller before Beyonce. In that order. Love is overrated. Like love, honestly, and I'm talking about it later today. We love people we don't like. Hey, let's be honest, right? And also, you're not paying your bills with love, right? When it's all said and done, you only have you. So the book's all about taking care of you as an individual, financially, mentally, emotionally. Just take care of you. Stop finding people to love you. Love you, it's time to deal with you. We always running from us. I don't want to deal with that person. I don't want to deal with that person. That person in the mirror, I don't want to deal. But I'd rather deal with this person. It's time to deal with you. It's time to love you. It's time to get out your own way. It's time to date you. And when Joanna and I met, we was on the same page. We wanted to love yourself. I'm gonna love myself, and we love each other. It's game over, right? And that was also with finances. I already had a home, so before we got married, Joanna's buying a home. Mortgage before marriage. Guess what? She doesn't need me. I don't need her. When we talk about financially, I don't need her. She doesn't need me. If it ever goes wrong, guess what? Oh, we good. You keep this home. I keep this home. You can have that home. I keep this home. Simple.
So let me park there for a second, and not to get you off, but I've heard you say that before. And the fact that as a man, you're not being pessimistic, but you're still concerned that if things don't go right, she's good.
If something happened to me, she's not laying up with she ain't laying with some dude to pay her mortgage. Like, yo, bro, she don't need you. If she's laying up with someone else, she wants you. My queen different. Need and want it's two different words. If something happened to me and she decided to move on, guess what? She wants that brother.
And don't need him and don't come, Alex.
It's a difference.
You tapping into After Dark. Let's pull it back to the book, because you're gonna wind up tapping into some After Dark.
That is the book, but look, the 20% of women are in relationships they can't afford to leave, bro. Like, think about that. 20% of women are in relationships they can't afford to leave. They get treated some type of way, but guess what? They can't move forward. They can't leave. Like, think, men could be, I would say boys. Boys could be, they could be wrong. They could set everything up, pay for everything, just to try to stay in control.
A level up. I was getting ready to say that gives some control.
Right.
And violence and domestic issues aren't always the physical. There's the words, and then there's the control. Financial. Come.
Right. So, yo, give up your dreams. Don't worry, I'll take care of you. Yo, just go have kids. Stay home. I'll take care of you. All right. When that man have a bad day, guess who he taking out on? Oh, you don't do nothing. You don't do nothing, man. Look, I spent a week or so when my wife had COVID with my children by myself. I don't ever want to do that again in my life. So for a man to say, "Oh, that's not a real job," or "You ain't doing nothing," you crazy. You crazy. My wife, I'm blessed to have my wife, and I know that for a fact because I speak to other husbands.
Mm.
So I know what they don't have. I know what they do have, and I'm like, nah, I can't relate on a lot of negative stuff. I can't relate because my queen is different. So I can't relate when a husband speaks to me about the negative stuff in his relationship and what he's not getting and what I can't relate. I don't understand that language because Joanna Joanna good, and I'm happy. We look. You know when you got something, you start realizing it. Like start thinking, what if it goes away because you love
Yeah.
it so much?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the love I have for my family, for
Mm.
my wife and my kids. Like love them so much. I start thinking like, man, how about if I lose them? Like I have to appreciate them in the moment. So we always have to live in the moment. And again, that's what the book's about, right?
Yes, sir.
You got to take care of yourself, got to live in the moment, and you never want to give up. And it's not only for marriage, it's not only for married couples, individuals. You should read the book when you're single,
Okay.
right? It just makes sense. And you should read the book when you're married, and you should read the book when you get a divorce. You know, you should have your high school students reading this book ASAP because they're gonna fall in love with someone that's not good for them just for security. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I don't want to leave because I'm used to this person, or I don't want to leave because I don't want my body count to go up. It's again, we fall in love with people we don't like, and we need to stop doing that. Read the book, get the book, Mortgage Before Marriage, Finances Before Fiance, Rockefeller before Beyonce. Don't play yourself. Fall in love with yourself.
Yeah. Let me get the link because I know folks are going to ask for it. Hold on.
Yep.
And it comes up right here real quick. So let me put that in the comments so folks can go
And
and
that's
get that.
mortgage, the letter B, the number 4,
Oh, I got you.
marriage.com.
Oh, bro, I got you.
Oh,
You
okay.
do this stuff in real
I bet.
time, but I got you. I'm gonna put it right in the comments. So and it will be hyperlinked. So there's a whole website where you can get the book and information. And so we'll also, Alex, if you can do me a favor in the private chat, just type your Instagram so folks can know how to follow you and get information from you. And so early on, I mentioned that away from your financial success, you are also wealthy just because of my familiarity with your story as far as your family, your mom, and also your wife and children. And so, can we talk a little bit about wealth on the other side? There's the wealth of love, there's the wealth of having friends and fellowship and being able to eat and things like that. But let's talk about, sir, the importance of money. It. I think sometimes we don't freely talk about being financial successful largely because of our trauma,
Yeah.
how we're going to be perceived by folks that may not be there yet, if I could be very transparent.
Right.
Um,
Mhm.
and it just, we're focused on so many other things that we don't focus on sustainable long-term wealth. And so, why this focus on wealth? Feel free in the beginning if you want to talk a little bit about the realty space, but why wealth? Why is wealth in the importance in the vein of money so important to us as Black folks?
One, I mean, the history of just not having it. That's one, right? And that trauma. Guess what? When we have it, we want to get rid of it so fast because we're not used to having it.
Sir,
You know,
go ahead. You good?
we can't wait to get rid of that money, boy. Look, we 500,000. Look, we getting everything. You know, and we want to go back to normal, and that normal is broke. And then again, this trauma. And I'm going to talk for myself. I'm not.
Go ahead, sir. Yep, you
I'm a
good.
professional. I'm talking about Alex E. Edwards. A lot of times, younger, having money, I couldn't wait to blow it so I could feel normal again. Because I broke was normal, right? When I was younger, I'm like, oh, what can I spend? What can I buy? So I could feel like looking at all that money in my bank account, I'm like, oh, I'm getting nervous. I'm getting the jitters, right? Again, it's just that younger Alex trauma dealing with money, having money issues, not ever having it. It's honestly, we probably should have a financial therapist to be honest, to deal with that financial trauma of again not having and not knowing how to keep, right, and grow, right. You know, I bought my home at a very young age. I bought my home at 20 years old. I worked at Bank of America at I got to Bank of America at 19. Think about filling out the 401k. Who's gonna help me? Who's like, I can't go home and talk to my mom. Mom don't know nothing about a 401k. My brothers don't know. My brother's a street dude. He don't know nothing about 401k. Like, who do I go to? Who
So
do we go to?
you had to figure it out.
I had to figure it out on my own. And I'm speaking to this guy, and I'm like, should I max my 401k? And he's like 40 years old. I'm 19. He's like, no, I want to do that. No. Right? And I'm like, you're 40 and you have the same position I have, and I'm 19, and you tell me I might have to go get advice from someone else.
Yep.
You might not be qualified to give me advice. So
yep.
So what happened was I maxed out my 401k, right? Because I realized the IRS take out the money after the 401k come out. So the IRS is like, all right, you making less. No, I'm not making less. I'm just saving more, right? So I was like, oh yeah, this is no brainer. And with that same money, I had the opportunity to renovate my home and raise the rent and call it a day and pay all the fees. So it was a no brainer. I bought my home at 20, and then after that, a good, I think about 3 years. This is a joke. 2 years. 2 years. I think I had about 40,000, and I was like, oh, I'm going to retire at 30. I was looking at the money. I was like, I'm going to retire at 30. Again, not understanding.
Yep.
Look, this is my first time having money, so I'm not going to retire at 30. But that was one of the best decisions I ever made. Is one, going to the bank and understanding money, understanding CDs, like understanding. I seen people with time and money, bro. In Phil's Corner, I never seen anyone with time and money. You had to have one of them. You can't get both. And like working in a different environment, it was game over. I seen a life that I never saw before. So I was like, all right, it's more to Alex E. Edwards. It is more than Phil's Corner. I seen good credit. I seen $1 million in someone's bank account. Real talk. I seen a Russian for the first time. Like, last time I seen a Russian was on the Rocky movie. So I'm like, whoa, it's very diverse. I'm getting educated all around. And finances, look, if you don't have finance, how can you take care of yourself? How can you take care of your family? So we have to get out the mindset of money. Having a lot of money is bad. It's not bad. It's when you have a lot of money, you change who you are. That's the thing that's not healthy. But having a lot of money and being yourself, what's wrong with that? And putting your team on, when your circle is wealthy, y'all can buy anything you want. Anything. Yep. You could really buy blocks. So I mean, I'm against the person that started a nonprofit and still broke. I'll be honest with you. It's like the blind leading the blind. I don't understand why you really want to help someone else before helping yourself. Because if you help yourself, you can help more people. That's just,
there's a little bit of at first there was shade, but then there was a little bit of a personal ouch, because I'm getting there. I'm in some spaces of saving. We go and look at the pre-approval process soon. Alex, because of time, I realized that one, I need to get you over here face to face, and we need to do it after dark. The other thing is our mayor is going to be coming in a few minutes, and I want to allow and make sure we have time to talk about I put my own hashtag. I don't know if y'all have one yet, but it's been hashtag news 2024. I seen it somewhere on your advertisement. And so we're getting ready to talk about the New England Wealth Summit, where you're bringing tell us about it. What can we expect? What's going on? I'm telling you now, go to that link. We're going to put this up. We usually wait until the end, but Alex told me in the beginning of the show, and it may be 12 now, but there were only 15 tickets left. And so if you're listening to Alex and want to be around like-minded people that are moving toward wealth, both non-tangible and tangible, we're about to hear about the New England Wealth Summit, but go register now. 50% off if you use capital JAVA. Go ahead, sir.
I'm going to say this. I got stars coming. Stars, like mega stars, like big stars. Like my lineup is amazing lineup, right? And they all from Boston. I'm not flying no one in. I know we have stars in my city. The best thing about this summit, they're gonna drop gems. How they make money, like how, step by step, how they scale up, how they pay less in taxes, how they improve their business credit and personal credit to get the bag, how to get government contracts, city contracts. I mean, we speak about the coach. I got superstars. I got the Avengers, right? The best thing about it, when they get off the stage, you can have lunch with them on Monday. You don't got to fly down to another state.
They're
No,
local.
you can work on the bag on Monday. I know we got stars. The world just don't know it yet. And it's my job, is the news job, my team's job, to make sure we shine light on the stars in Boston. And it's just a new day, everyone. Like, we put all our egos together to on aside. Sorry, we put our egos aside, and we are being your voice. There's a lot of money makers in Boston, Jimmy. There's a lot of money, and they don't have a voice like me. I have a big mouth. Don't worry, I'm going to talk for them. I'm going to put them on stages. I'm going to make sure we all know who's popping so we can learn from them. This is a new day, Jimmy. I'm telling you, it's a new day. News is in town, and we're going to uplift financially, mentally, health-wise, emotionally. We're going to uplift marriage-wise. Like, we have a marriage segment that's with two couples that's going to be phenomenal, and they both in business together. So we're talking about business and marriage, how you grow both without hurting both. Ooh, I cannot wait, bro.
How you grow both without hurt? Wait. You're okay. How do you grow both without hurting both? Okay, let's go there for a second. How? Give us a little snippet and teaser so folks know what they're walking into. Because that right there, that's
communicating. Amazing. Communicating is number one. One, you have to love each other and like each other. You can't love and don't like.
First, love yourself, as you said earlier. Get the book.
Gotta love yourself. Nothing ends right without loving yourself.
Yes, sir.
So one is communication. You got to communicate. And you got to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries, right? It's let's be honest. It's I'm with my wife at home. I'm with my wife here, and I think sometimes she don't even come in the office so we could just have some space, right? But just to understand, look, you are a husband. You are her husband, and she's your wife, and she's also your business partner. So I try to have meetings more than just regular conversation. When it's about business, let's sit down and have a meeting
with your wife.
With the wife. When it's love, or we loving all day, we don't have to have a meeting with love. But we also do some activities in the book. We stay in the house for 24 hours, no computers, no phones, and we have to be in the same room. We love on each other, and that's a different type of meeting, right? So now we setting boundaries, and guess what? Both of the businesses is going like this. The love business is like, oh, the other business is like, okay, let's get it. So you have to treat both like a business. You can't sit there and say, oh, I'm going to only focus on this money and not focus on the love. You got it. They both need your attention. They both need meetings. They both need communication. They both need a plan. You need to check in quarterly. Like, it's you have to do that.
My brain is just all over the place because a lot of my response is based on your response, and there is so much to unpack there. One of the first things that first of all, we got to keep reiterating, there's only 15 tickets left. Yeah. And I mean that there's capacity issues. And so, there's also, let's just park for a minute. There's a professionalism in this space. And so, please don't walk up at the last minute and yeah, try to come in. It's 15 tickets left. You can get the tickets at this link here. It is hyperlinked somewhere in the comments, but I'll try to, let me get this back in the comments. But I want to make sure that folks know, Alex, because the impact of COVID, the real non-hype, non-immediate trauma of the past 2 years, that is dissipating. And now the only way I can describe it is the settledness of the impact of COVID is starting to hit with our students. It's starting to hit in other spaces, but financially, we need to be prepared. Yes, as individuals, and I'm constantly having this conversation that individuals help empower the community. but we're going to need to be prepared as a community to operate as a village when it comes to. Go ahead, sir. Anything you want to add there?
I agree. As a village, and the first thing I'm going to focus on, I'm not voting parties. I'm voting policies. Like,
Come.
I want to be 100. It's two P's. I'm going with policy and not party. So, and that's taking care of the village. I have to think about my village. I have to think about my community. I have to think about my people as a whole. What's best for us?
Yes, sir.
That's it. Point blank. I don't care what party's given. What's best for us? And the New England Summit is us saying, you know what? Actions speak louder than words. One room, a lot of over 20 people speaking about success that they already did it. They already done it. It's done. They did it. So it's important to have a village, and let's think about it. Those 20 successful people are gonna start talking to each other. It's another village happening backstage, right? They're gonna inspire a lot of people in the audience. We have high school students, college students, young professionals, middle age, and the more wise humans going to be in the building. We have generations after generations. So again, you're 100% right. Community is key. Community key, but it's people have to step up and make sure they put an arm around community without losing their self, without losing their self, without losing their self. After they take care of themselves, put that arm around community. After they take care of themselves. So
You're,
it's
you're,
yeah,
you're
and it starts with, again, not parties but policies.
absolutely. And our mayor's running a couple of seconds late, and so we have a few extra minutes. I wanted to ask, while you're talking about that, the importance of participating, not party but politics. We know that our Congresswoman Presley has this focus on loving Black men
Yeah.
and encouraging them to be a part of the civic process. What is our role as kings and as princes in taking a role in the electoral process? I got you here. I'm gonna
Yep.
get all I can get from you while
Thank
you're
you.
here.
No, you know what? For the last year or so, I've been kind of really paying attention to politics and understanding law. And if you understand law, if you understand law, you can always get your way. I want to be honest. If you understand law and policy, you can always get your way, right? And let's talk about simple. Whitney Miller's going to talk about taxes at the summit, right? Taxes. When we look at someone like Jeff Bezos, and you're saying like, man, that guy don't want to pay a lot of taxes at all, and he makes a lot of money. Sometimes he's the richest in the U.S., right? But he just understands law, right?
Yep.
So if we understand, let's say on a lower level, if we understand law on a lower level, we could always get ahead. The thing is, we don't understand. We don't understand. We don't really understand what we're voting for. I think we vote for parties because someone told us to, right? I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. A lot of times, someone told you to vote this way. You grew up in a Democratic, like that's your household, that's your family. So now you're that person, but you never said, let me look at the policies, right? So I think it's important to understand policies and understand people's track record. I could come now and say, look, I'm the best pilot ever. I can have a campaign. I can have commercials. Jimmy be like, yo, I was on a plane. He didn't say I was flying, but he said he was on a plane. And guess what? Everyone votes for me. And I don't have no clue on how to fly a plane. And there's no track record because I made it cool. So again, I think we need to start focusing on policies. And I want someone to step up and break down policies so everyone can understand.
And
Almost like a domino effect. Hey, if we go here, this is the domino effect here. This is here. This will affect here. Not, hey, this is best for blah, 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 blah. But someone's going to lose. Every policy, someone's going to lose. Let's just be honest.
So we're going to take a quick break for a second, but I will, before we go to break, I'm going to say this, is that we have folks that every either 2 years, every 4 years, every 6 years, that really have a responsibility to ensure that proposed policies, things that are being considered, where it's ethical and not breaking the law. If there's backroom conversations, make the community aware. We all talk about inside, outside, game. And there is an element of leadership that should, for me, is a big word, because should indicates if you're not, you might be wrong. One would believe that they would observe a certain energy and assertiveness from elected officials to make sure that their constituency knows everything, even if they didn't vote for them, even if they never called the office and got their email address. Get out and get those non-civically engaged folks when they can show up, when it's good for them. You got me into an interesting space. And so we're going to take a break, and I want to come back and ask you about one other particular policy as it pertains to Black men. And you'll see the subject as we take this break real quick. Our mayor, I heard from the team, she's running a few minutes late, so she'll be with us shortly. But listen to this and we'll be right back.
I'm a very sensitive person, and I feel the pain of my people. They know me, they call on me, and I assure them that I'm not a provider, but I am one who cares. I always say to them, well, it's better to know than not to know, because if you know, you can do something about it. Think about the loved ones around you. Think about the ones that love seeing you come through that door. Take the step and get tested. That's it.
Save lives and get screened for colon cancer. For more information, visit boston.gov/cancer.
Well, took my own little break there. So Alex, just real quick, our mayor is here, and we're going to chat with her and you for a couple of seconds in a second, because you two have been doing some great things together in the space of housing equity. And so very quickly, as I know. So when these two dates came together, I was like, okay, Alex is going to cross with the mayor. This is going to be very interesting in a definitely good way. And so very quickly, give us 1 minute on the commercial you just saw. We talk about wealth. You have to be healthy. You have to be well. If you're financially literate, if you have homes and whatnot, if you are not healthy in your body, you're not here to enjoy any of the success. Very quickly, how important is it that we as men pay attention to our health as we get ready to bring our mayor in?
It's very important. It's very important. We could be in pain. We're not going to the doctor, and we have insurance. We have insurance.
And see who's sitting here with bruised ribs.
Yeah, and we're not even using it. So we have to take care of ourselves. Our family needs us. They need us. I don't care what you listen into this world where women like, I don't need. I spoke to a lot of women last week, and I said they do need real men. They need men. They want men. They want men. Like, it's not. They need us. So we have to remain healthy. You have to get checked up. You have to. You have to stop eating unhealthy. You have to start exercising. I have a group of men. We are on a competition where we have to do 200 push-ups every single day. If not, we lose $100. That every day, like every day we don't do it, we lose $100. And sometimes you need that circle to push you into health. And guess what? When you start, I'm going to let you know this. When you start working out, if you're single, the women know this. Or notice.
And then in my case, it will. So yeah, I need to start. I see the mayor in the background laughing.
so you get your health right. So because we need you, man. We need you.
Yes, sir. I refer to the fact, Mayor, thank you so much for coming in. I have seen you and Alex do some things in the past few months around housing equity. So I thought it was sort of dope. That when the planning worked out that you two were going to cross. And so, Mayor, please say hello to Alex to the mayor, and just speak to Mayor the importance of wealth. There's a focus here on Black wealth. We know what you and Shagun are doing in the city. So you two go ahead and talk for a couple of seconds, and then we're going to jump into some other things with our mayor in just a few moments.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Alex is everywhere. He's making new home ownership possible. He's making new childcare possible. And now apparently push-up man here.
Oh.
That's what keeps you going everywhere. The 200 push-ups. No, Thumbprint has been an incredible, incredible partner, and we were together at the ribbon cutting, or I guess technically groundbreaking for Brown Bear childcare expansion in Mattapan, and I've heard from so many people that they wouldn't have been able to access their new space and get through the process without Alex and the team. So being that glue for the community is making such big impact.
Mayor, I can personally speak to the fact this is my broker. You were aware that, I had to transition quickly, and Alex did, everything ethical and right, but he worked some miracles in the background to make sure that happened. So I know personally. Alex, any response to the mayor before we let you go?
I gotta get some big news. I'm gonna drop it now. I was gonna wait till the summit, but I'm sorry. This is the moment. I apologize, everyone.
Hold on. Because we like to do. Wait a minute, because they're already in here waiting for the mayor to say something. And so, as I said, legacy and major media partners, Alex is about to drop something. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Here it goes. Mayor Wu, you don't know this. You're gonna find out today. So Section 8 to home ownership. We made history last Friday. We did something that has never been done in the real estate industry because of the program that the city of Boston rolled out, the opportunity that y'all gave to people that are on BHA. So our client last week, because, and my wife was the agent, Thumbprint, we study a lot of grants. Every time something come out, they come on our Gem Drop Fridays. We have a meeting every Friday. Banks come on, everyone come on. And because of this, our client is not paying a mortgage for 15 years. For 15 years, she has no bills. I thank you. We thank you. I know Brian Well was a big part of this as well. We thank him. But we were able to connect the grants, the BHA program, and they bought an affordable home. So all three,
I'm gonna cry.
All three, this woman is not paying her mortgage for 15 years. So we made history. We did it. I'm so happy for Thumbprint Realty. I'm excited to be a Bostonian. I always say that if you don't have a home in Boston, it's because you decide not to have one. But we did it, and I'm. If you would see her face, if you would have seen her face at closing, and the loan officers jumping up and down, the attorneys, no one could understand what just happened because of everything. It was just a puzzle that came together and made a beautiful picture. But
in a lot of ways, we're trying to just open the door and just ease the burden a little bit here or there. And it turns out, as we see often, that the same communities are bearing the same challenges all layered on top of each other. And so in fact, when someone qualifies for all the different grants, it's because they were already fighting through way more to begin with. And I just want to really, in this space, kind of contextualize, of course, this is life-changing and amazing for this new resident and homeowner, but it's going to have generational impact on the entire city. That is a whole family unit now, where next generations just are going to be in a completely different headspace when they make decisions about their own lives, what they choose, what they can do, how they participate in their community, give back with their time without the burden of having to work 2-3 jobs just to try to make ends meet. It's one person's story that you all and this team made possible that really affects all of us and is going to have an impact for years afterwards.
This is one. I always look forward to the mayor coming in and sharing some things with us, but this is major. 15 years with no mortgage history. Basically, the mayor referred to the ability and your ability to execute what we call stacking. when they have different discounts and whatnot. And so it is just it's amazing. I think when Alex said we should have saw the face of the person, the mayor and I's face both was the small example, because we both were like, wait, what? And so all right, let's get ready to let Alex go. Our mayor's running a little bit behind. We want to be sensitive to her schedule. There's a lot to discuss, but Alex, thank you for all that you do in community. I will see you on Saturday as well. We'll talk more about what happens at the summit with me next week. We'll share that. But Alex, thank you so much for being here. And go ahead. Last thought. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Mayor Wu. And again, thank you, Joanna Edwards, because you was the agent. You put it all together. We love you. Thank you for leading the way. You did an amazing job, Joanna. And thank you, community, for listening and tuning in to us. Everyone have a wonderful day. We woke up today. I don't know why you woke up. It's up to you to figure that out. Until then, see ya.
Brother Alex, thank you, man. Wow. Mayor Wu, welcome.
What a great day to start off on that note.
It is. And it's so interesting because you know that there's some other things we got to discuss. And so I am glad that we were, I always try to end on some joy or good note. I'm glad that we're able to start there and talk about impact. That is impact, and everything that you cited. No mortgage for 15 years, the generational wealth, okay. You said
the other day we were at the ribbon cutting for Two Life Communities' new affordable senior housing development. And even before the event started, I was talking to different residents who were there in the audience. And one kind of family group came up to me, and the daughter was saying about her mom, who is the senior who's living there now, that this allowed her to come back home into the neighborhood that she had raised her kids in. And she had kind of scraped and struggled and lived in public housing in the neighborhood, worked all of these jobs so her daughter could go to school. Her daughter graduated from Boston Latin, went to Harvard. Harvard Medical School is now saving lives as a doctor in this city. And now she got to be, and she said it was just so meaningful that her mom now can finally feel settled and stable after all that she had sacrificed. And, when one person is able to get housing, their kids are saving lives in the hospital rooms. They're able to work alongside their neighbors to make this community initiative or park or other program happen. This is what Boston is all about, the connections. And the housing crisis is the worst part of it, is that displacement is effectively just ripping up the fabric of those connections, and we all feel it.
Mayor, you're so right. You're so right. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to tie in our first subject. And I think what I'm thinking about is that wealth piece and the ability that you push for the new the Office of Civic Organizing and whatnot. One of those things, Mayor, that we now get into the business and delve into is I've seen, a couple of things coming up on social media around participatory budgeting. It came up last year. There was a campaign commitment. Then most recently, I saw this post where a lot of supporters and allies of you have signed this request or demand, I don't remember the exact verbiage, around the participatory budgeting. In the vein of what you're saying a few minutes ago in reference to wealth and housing, where are we with that? And what is what is the reason why it did not happen last year? And where are we this year with that amount?
Yep. So just for, I think if anyone's not familiar with the term participatory budgeting, it means they're within the city's budget. Different departments have different funding already dedicated to them. The schools to pay the teachers and police and EMS and public works department to fill potholes, et cetera. So participatory budgeting usually means that a city government will set aside a pot of funding that's not then tied to any department and invites in the general public to decide how to spend this directly. Yep. So in some ways, the hope is that every single dollar reflects the public's needs and services anyway, but this is really direct because you participate in the budgeting yourself. And so oftentimes in how it happens in practice is that there's lots of different sessions where Community members can suggest ideas of things to fund. There's voting on what, or discussions on how to, pick a few of them that go to the top, and then some kind of voting to pick which ones actually get funded. There might be some rules about what are the kinds of projects that you can propose. Usually you don't want to propose something that the department could have paid for anyway, or was, going to be spent anyway, but something that will have its own impact. And it should be something that would be a one-time thing, because, for example, if you create new housing vouchers, you can't just fund that for one person for 1 year, because then they're back out on the street, and those are like a continual every year thing. If you hire a new staff member, you have to continue paying their salary. So it's it's a kind of particular kind of proposal that will be put out. And it takes a while to make sure we get this right in a city as big as Boston. We have a lot of good examples in the area. Cambridge has had it. Boston has done it with youth participatory budgeting for many years. Somerville has it as well. And so over the last year, we built out the advisory committee of community members who will shape all of the rules and the process and how you vote and who gets, how many times you vote and all those details. And we also actually hired the staff to be able to follow this through day to day. And then the question was, now that we were kind of up and running with this, how does it layer onto the regular budget process? And then how much money gets held aside for this? We have, at this point, I think the decision has been made to make it slightly off schedule from the regular budget, because when everything is in the same conversations, it's a little bit unpredictable. You kind of want to see what the regular budget already funds got in there. And then you can say, okay, now, but I'm setting aside this pot of funding to do other things once we have that level of knowing and the stability of knowing what's already going to be spent otherwise. I have some numbers here. Somerville had their first cycle last year. They put $1 million into participatory budgeting.
That was similar to what you did here in Boston, right? It was $1 million.
We are at $4 million that we have. That will be the first batch that's available. Cambridge did it for $2 million. And this last month, they just finished their cycle. And in the past, they did $1 million each as well. We have had $2 million set aside each year as the committee was getting stood up. And so now there's $4 million available. There have been calls for, that number to be closer to $40 million or a much, much higher amount. We are, where there's a lot of needs that we have to address on the city budget funding side. And I see the next topic. Boston is putting more dollars of our operating budget into the school's budget to try to support and cushion as federal funding disappears yet again that schools have been using. So there's a lot of push and pull, but we want to make sure we do this right. Start with getting our feet wet and solidly up and running, and then we'll be able to see how it works and kind of set the bigger picture plan later on. But the community advisory group is going to be steering this all along the way, and we are going to start with this first chunk that's there.
Absolutely, Mayor. Thank you for that, giving the context, as well as what I heard from you, if I hear right, was that, and I've said this about you before, you don't just jump into stuff. It's long, it's calculated and thought out, and then when it goes, it's pretty good. And so thank you for that clarity there. As you said, let's talk about the BPS budget. As you know, when you get ready to come on, we put the flyer up. My inbox and direct messages and comments this time really go up. School budget was one of them. I actually had Corey McCarthy on yesterday. And even in the news reporting, there are cuts in some spaces. And then what I did hear that there is some increased or above previous level funding around support services. And so there is sort of some confusion to where there's budget cuts, but then there's increases in areas. We know that enrollment is down and different things. And so, Mayor, what is it that you have to say to answer folks that are asking about the ambiguity in the BPS budget cuts?
Okay, I'm trying to think about how I take all of the pieces of this and digest it down. I think the biggest thing to start with is that every year, the costs of doing the same thing go up. And so if you spend $1 million 1 year, if you spend that same $1 million next year, it's actually a cut, because the cost of living for teachers is built into the contract that they deserve, because the cost of health insurance goes up, the cost of materials goes up.
Presently, inflation is interesting across the board.
Exactly. So even though we are putting more money than ever before into the school budget, it's been framed sometimes as a cut because to keep pace, you need to be increasing it at a baseline anyway.
Yep.
And then in fact, this year, the district is beginning to see the federal dollars that were given out for pandemic relief expiring. And so they have been planning for many years now that whatever was funded with this one-time money was going to go away at some point, and that had been kind of built in, and there's supposed to be temporary positions and other investments, but it is still always hard, even if you know it's coming.
Yep.
The point at which it actually has to change is very difficult. And so we have increased the city's contribution to the school budget. So even on top of what the state gives every city for public education, we are using our general funds from property taxes, parking tickets, any of the revenues that the city gets.
March Madness.
Over $80 million of that is going directly to the Boston Public Schools, just so they can make sure to cushion a little bit of this transition with the federal dollars easing off. And so overall, we're actually adding permanent positions on top of what was there last year, but with some of the temporary positions ending for individual school communities, it can feel very challenging. And the district and the superintendent have been working closely and mapping this out for many years with these school communities. But the bottom line is that we don't have an equitable public school funding mechanism in this country. And in Massachusetts, what that means is that when each municipality is so small and the wealthier communities have property taxes that fund their schools, and then larger cities with students, we serve students from all over, with even from other cities and towns because of our special education services, multilingual services, but we are not treated the same way with adequate state funding. And so what ends up happening is that more and more non-state city dollars are actually going into that as well, as it should, because every investment in our young people is an investment that is going to pay dividends down the line. We've been doing things like expanding early education, working with our teachers and educators to revamp inclusion so it actually will work for our students and their families, and a lot of other kind of bigger picture changes. The other thing I should say is that when you talk about school budgets in particular, we sometimes think about it as student by student, but you pay, whether it's childcare or K through 12, you pay by the classroom or by the teacher, basically, or by the school, depending on how you look at it. No matter how many, if you have a half full classroom, it's the same cost in some ways because you are paying the salary and for the work and labor of the educator, whether it's only half the number of students or the full number of students. And so when we do see enrollment unevenly affecting different school communities, that has an impact on costs as well. And the district's been doing a lot of work because, frankly, some of the smallest schools where it's only one class per grade versus what we call multi-strand schools where there's 2 first grade teachers per year, 2, et cetera. When it comes to the smallest schools, they often aren't able to offer the whole range of experiences anyway. It's hard to put together a soccer team if you only have one class per grade and things like that. And so there's some bigger picture visioning that the districts have been doing, lots and lots of listening sessions and workshops around what does the ideal high quality student experience feel like. It's not just about getting math and EL, English language and language arts and science and all that. It's about having arts and sports at the school. It's about having up-to-date science labs. And so a lot of that we're trying to build into the budget as well, of constantly pushing for new investments so that we're fixing the underlying challenges that we've now inherited from several decades of our public schools being underfunded.
Mayor, thank you for that clarity there. There's this scripture, old adage that all thy getting, get an understanding. And so we appreciate the clarity that we're getting from the peer view. Sometimes things, sound bites and particular points are put out sometimes to propagate certain type of message. And so thank you for that clarity. It doesn't mean that some concerns from Joe Schmo parent and student aren't valid, but thank you for that clarity there.
And it's hard. I mean, it's there is no invalidating the experience of a particular family or school community. I can think of a school in my mind, for example, where There were federal dollars that went away, and the school leadership and school had a choice of, do they fund a model with more administrative staff that's there, or do they fund a model where they keep more of the teaching staff? And there's an argument either way. More administrative staff means that the teachers who are there feel more supported and they can do more. More teaching staff means you then don't lose the, what's sometimes called extra, but is necessary of like technology or arts, or kind of what usually gets cut when you have to make those cuts. And so, but those are decisions that often happen without community members necessarily having had a say between those two choices, because it's what the school leadership is deciding. And we're doing our best to try to support and offset that, but there are hard choices to be made.
Thank you, Mayor, for that. And I wish we had time to even jump into the change with the O'Brien. We can do that next month. I wanted to also offer an opportunity in a few moments. You'll be getting off of here to run over to do something else in this place of equity and the economy and wealth. And so you're getting ready to announce, I think this is the second iteration of the space grants. And so just a couple of minutes, because we do want to also talk about White Stadium, the city planning department. So we got to, and we have a guest in the background, Coach Hatim is going to chat with us as well about White Stadium. So very quickly, if you don't, and I hate that I'm moving you quick on the good news, but tell us about the space grant and the announcement and the type of businesses that are being impacted by the support that you and Shagun are doing.
Yeah, this is entirely the leadership of Chief Idowu here, the brainchild of his team, where basically we took a chunk of federal ARPA dollars to specifically close gaps for entrepreneurs, not just saying, here's a vacant space, go figure it out yourself of how to build out the right seating or buy the equipment that you needed, which is a gap, as we know, for those who already aren't able to hire the lawyers and consultants and this and that. And so in order to close these gaps and finally address and change some of the dynamic around wealth gaps, we help pair with a space and also build it out. And so this second round will have 37 new businesses getting a little over $4.5 million to build out their businesses and open in a new location, whether that's their first one or a second or third branch. 73% are BIPOC owned businesses, 75%, more than 75% are women owned businesses. And we've seen the difference. Again, I was just with Alex at an announcement for one of these. It's restaurants, it's childcare, it's personal services like beauty, it's clothing, sustainable goods. So it's really exciting that we're getting to see our communities reflected in the new businesses that are being created and in the city's continued recovery from the pandemic.
Mayor, I wanted to discuss the city planning department, but Michael's in the background and you got to get ready to get over to the announcement itself. And so we can table that until next month, only if you promise, if we can talk about it, if you give me 30 seconds. BPDA is essentially going to be phased out. This was a campaign promise. We have a new city planning department. 30 seconds.
Every mayoral candidate for decades has promised they would get rid of this agency because it hasn't worked, and residents have said that. We are getting it done, and it's sharing power by bringing more democratic oversight into the process, and it's also organizing and coordinating and making things more predictable for everyone. So it's one of the biggest changes the city's seen in 70 years, and it's been a lot of hard work from Chief Arthur Jemison and our whole team to make sure we're not just changing the structure, but supporting the workforce during that, and also delivering some of the results to make sure we are doing right by community members.
Absolutely. We'll talk more about that next month. Culture team in the background, we're going to get ready. He's been so patient, Mayor. I had told them to have him come in a few minutes late because I knew we were going to talk about a lot. So, Coach, go ahead and get settled. Mayor, White Stadium is a big, big subject right now. We're actually going to have some of the ownership on Monday. Linda and another person as well, and a young woman from the community, because I think it's so important to raise the fact that these women are doing great things. And so White Stadium, there's a lot of opinions. Where are we with White Stadium? We're getting ready to bring in Coach H as well. Sir, first of all, thank you so much for your patience. You see, we had a lot to discuss today. And so thank you for being here, Coach. Mayor, where are we with White Stadium?
We are in the thick of working on the actual design of the stadium and on the final, trying to get this month. There will be many transportation workshops to make sure that traffic and parking and the flow around the park to the stadium will get set. But it's really exciting to be able to not only add a major sports franchise to the city, women playing, but also to then more than triple the access that Boston Public Schools will have to the space with our student athletes, world-class track, soccer, football still on site as well, although at a slightly different time of the season. I just wish everyone who is reading these stories could actually go there and see what our incredible athletes, student athletes, are having to live with right now that none of them should have to deal with.
Absolutely. We're going to get ready to introduce Coach H. Mayor, I have to ask this question. As you remember, in 2022, Yoga Mike, we were working to try to get the White Stadium filled with a yoga practice. And the community access is one of the concerns. And so how do we, before we throw it over to Coach H, how do we ensure that this is a little bit personal, though I take my cues from these inboxes and DMs. I'm asking just by my own experience when it wasn't with this corporation and improvement, how is the administration going to ensure community that they still will have access to the improved White Stadium?
Yeah, and not just have access, but have actual access and have more of it.
Yep.
Because I know we are people think they've seen this movie before, Carter Playground, other parks where, oh, we have this great partner to come in, and then all of a sudden no one can actually use it anymore because it's only this outside group has priority. We specifically negotiated the agreement so that Boston Public Schools continues to own the stadium, to control the scheduling of the stadium, and that BPS athletes will have priority in this. There will be, right now, there's 13 home games per team for professional women's soccer. They're usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday or Saturday nights. They are going to, take up that evening. There will be a practice associated with that, but that's it. With the track expansion, we'd be able to run a full track meet in the morning on the same day as the games. We are going to squeeze every bit of time out of this. And even when there might be soccer practice happening for the team, the football team that practices on the playstead, which they actually don't practice in the stadium right now. They practice on the playstead, but use the locker rooms. They could still use the locker rooms throughout the season. So a lot of this is preserving what's happening and then just taking it to the next level with the quality of it and with the access. One of the upcoming meetings is going to be specifically on community usage so that we'll hear directly and be able to codify some of the commitments.
Mayor, thank you so much. I'm going to be sensitive and I want to stay in good graces with Jessica and Mike and Phyllis and all of them over there. So we're going to get ready to let you go, or you pop out when you absolutely have to get over.
I want Coach H to say something, and then I want to say something about one of the comments in the chat as well.
Mayor's in the comments. Okay, Coach H, please go ahead. I seen you in the background shaking your head and agreeing with some things. What is your perspective? Tell us a little bit about what you do. Time is sort of interesting here, but tell us a little bit about what you do and your perspective based on what the mayor said about the access to White Stadium.
Oh, well, first and foremost, thank you, Jimmy, and of course, Mayor, for this opportunity. I'm the citywide cross-country coach for Boston Public Schools. I've been in this position for the last decade. I met Mayor Wu 2022. When the conversation started about White Stadium, and she immediately reached out to the people that she felt were the stakeholders. Mm-hmm. And me being the citywide cross-country coach, I have an opportunity to coach the entire district, where when I took the program in 2015, it was a doormat program where we started with 6 kids and we couldn't even qualify for the state meet. And in the last 2 years, we made history. We went from second to last to a top 20 program here in Massachusetts. So Mayor Wu's been very instrumental in that support. And she's been her and her staff have been very, very, very patient, asking the students, most important,
So you leaned, because you leaned in when you said the students, and that is not no diss to the city or anything. Just in general, I haven't heard or ascertained a lot of the students' input, sir. So go ahead.
Let's talk about that. And so when you see, unfortunately, lawsuits and you hear some of the cry, and you brought up even, shout out to my man, Mike Massey, Yoga in the house.
Yes, sir.
The concern was about, is it going to be access? And I saw in the dialogue that I've had with the mayor and the staff, through slide, they have a bigger vision. In the new White Stadium, BPS will be the stewardess, but the community rooms where there can be a place where Mike can do yoga. Even on the bigger context, if you're a Bostonian, she pencils in access for the Puerto Rican festival and bringing in all types of activities that can serve our community. I think the biggest question was that, what struck me was that Mayor Wu walked with me around the track. And I showed the mayor the holes. In 2022, I was elected Massachusetts State Coaches Association Coach of the Year, Division III Girls Coach of the Year. And I pointed to these holes and I said, Mayor, my girls are winning city championships in these holes. I said, Mayor, let's take a walk to the bathroom. Let's take a walk to the locker room. This is what our students are being, in these conditions, are showing resiliency. But unfortunately, the people who've had the comment have never been at these track meets. And I've been in White Stadium for a decade. And my students and I, we ask, who are these people speaking for us? We've never seen these people. So I want to commend the mayor once again. Thank you, Mayor, for allowing me to have this platform. Thank you for putting the future of Boston first, because it starts with the kids.
Coach H, thank you. And you know, Mayor, I have to put this out there. For the legacy and major media folks that are watching and recording and all that other stuff, please cite this properly, because Coach H, you gave a very interesting perspective, and that thing. And again, no slight to any entity, advocacy, city council, whatever. That is something, sir, I have not just through the coverage and social media heard the voice of our young people. And so thank you for raising that. Mayor, I know you have a response there, and then
and then I probably have to run. So I just want to say, well, first, we are so blessed to have Coach H as a mentor, as a role model, as an advocate and a fighter for our young people in our school communities. And what I remember from our walk around the track was not just that moment of like, I'm walking on a place where we send our students every day to work their hardest, to pour their hearts out. And even as I'm just walking, there's like gravel coming up on it and it's disintegrating, you know, beneath my feet, just walking around from decades of not being maintained. And the reminder that not too many years ago, several decades back, this was the site of the World Cross Country Championships. We hosted, we welcomed everyone to Boston for the marathon coming up, for world-class healthcare, for our universities. The world comes to Boston to see what the best looks like, to see what the best, being the best feels like. And yet our best facilities, Reggie Lewis, is for suburban students and teams who come in and take up most of the time. And then White Stadium right now, when our students are the best and they show that, the official state authorities don't even record some of those times because they say that our facilities don't meet the competition standards and therefore they don't count or all of that. So that was what I just remember feeling, that rage of, I cannot sit back and do nothing about this. And so there was a question Ms. Belinda had over here about which teams, which schools will be able to use it. Is it only Boston Latin and Boston Latin Academy? That's actually, I think where that comes from is right now, only 2 football teams use it for games. They don't use it for practices at all. It's the BLS and BLA football team who currently use it for 5 home games each. And I think we would be able to do multiple of those games through scheduling and doing that. And we'd be able to expand football season in the kind of end of season games for teams even beyond BLS and BLA with the stadium upgrades. But in terms of the other schools, for track, for soccer, it's going to be able to host schools from all across the city. This is going to be our city's space, our kids' space. And it's built into the legal language already of how we think about the stadium, that major events that are our longstanding beloved festivals, our students' games and practices have priority, and that we will work with them to make sure that this is the venue that is worthy of our young people finally. Oh, we lost Jimmy. All right, it's your show, Coach H.
Where's Jimmy?
I don't know.
Oh, wow. Well,
I can
yeah,
tell you.
and just to continue that dialogue, Mayor Wu, like it being the hub, so it will attract all kinds of students, not just kids that participate in football and basketball. Having a strength conditioning center,
That's right.
where a child from Charlestown, a child from Margaret Munoz, if they want to go somewhere and they have ailments, they can go there and get proper training. With the usage of that will bring a better unity, I believe, in BPS, something that's been desired. And I don't think the audience understands the last renovation of White Stadium was in 1948. So as you bring up, in 14 days, the world famous, the oldest marathon in the planet, 30,000 people will descend on our amazing city. And with the conversations that I've had with some of the running powers in the running community, they want to see a better White Stadium. And my challenge to them is that a better BPS is a better running community. You touched on it, Mayor. I was a freshman in high school in 1992 when Lynn Jennings was trying to shake the Kenyans, where the cross-country course was coming out of the golf course and would finish. So we are now in a prime position, Jimmy, to establish that Boston, Massachusetts is the premier running hub, and that this space, right, from the community room, will be able to attract kids from the entire district. So like there is a disparity between Burke High School and, let's say, English. Do these schools have high jump mats? Where does one child who has a gift, where can they go? They can now go to a central location and be able to learn and expand on their gifts. And with a strength and conditioning center, right? Does the Burke gym reflect the same gym as BLS? Maybe it doesn't. Now you have your BPS ID. In a near future, you can go to a situation after school and get the proper services. And then as we start to unpack, and I'm so blessed that the mayor brought me along, because us being the stewardess, we're the ones that can dictate the process. And like you said, Jimmy, who has spoken about the kids? And me coming from a track coach in the city, track is not the glamorous sport, but we have to put our children first. And I believe that we're in a bright opportunity. We're in an Olympic year as well, Jimmy. I believe in 2028, Boston will be the premier running hub. And I'll challenge everyone who's in the audience listening, attend this season Boston Public School Outdoor Championships, because we have a lot of talent. And I just want to share this because over the years, I've asked some of my student athletes to share what we have produced. I have kids. Joe Okafor is the class of 2017. He's now currently the new Commonwealth Fund nonprofit Master of Public Administration. This is a kid who's a valedictorian of the former West Roxbury. He is now serving our city. Sarah Lawton graduated class of 2019. She now works for the Boston Landmark Commission as a preservation assistant. These are student athletes that I've watched grow. Nas Rivera, class of 2018, special procurement coordination of BPS. Sean Dykins, math teacher. These are kids under guidance. I always
Barrett
told
White
them,
Stadium and others. Yep.
I've told them the future of the city is with you. So Jimmy, yes, I say to this, we're in a good place because I know what's next. The future leadership of our city are BPS kids, and they're stepping up. The class of 2018, the class of 2019, I give these kids a salute. So I can tell you, Jimmy, from the bottom of my heart, we're in the right direction. The future of our city student athletes who graduated from BPS, and they understand what it takes civically to make it happen.
Coach H, thank you. First of all, let me just address if Mayor's like, yes. Technical difficulty. I see that you two proceeded and went on. Last time that happened, I was told it was Carlos and Ramilda, Mayor, the last time. And folks said,
you almost lost your show. You almost they almost changed the name of the show right there.
Oh God, with Mayor and Coach H. But listen, we want to, because there's something the mayor has to go do. Coach H, thank you so much. And as this is progressing, please feel free to reach out and keep us up to date, because two things that stood out in your comments was, one, a lot of the folks that are attempting to represent the voice of those that you serve there haven't been there. And two, the young people have been a priority. And so Belinda and my mother, I see the questions in the background.
Yes. Right now the stadium is not ADA accessible because it, as Coach was saying, it hasn't been changed or invested in since 1948, 49. And this will make it fully ADA accessible.
Okay. And then Mayor, last thing, Mama Java, and your administration from, and even back with Chief Miller, Chief Malore, and others in Age Strong, there's a lot going on with a management company with my mom, and so I'll put them in touch. She on here. You're not going to ask my question. They're trying to raise her rent $600, and so I'll put her. It's further up. I don't know with the tech if it went out, but she got on me. Oh, here it goes.
I see.
Now,
okay,
Mom,
we'll follow up.
Okay. Mayor, thank you. Coach H, thank you both so much. Mayor, please give everyone my best, especially to your host. Hug her and tell her over at the Space Grant that I wish I could make it. And we'll talk to you soon. Coach H, thank you so much. We'll definitely
thank you, Jimmy, for the opportunity.
Thank you both. And shout out to the mayor's team as well, that was patient with us with the technical difficulty. Coach H, thank you. With the technical difficulty that happened. And so, yeah, y'all know I was sitting here freaking out. Anyway, I'm getting off of here so I can go fix this thing. Thank all of you that tuned in today. And again, to our legacy and major media partners, if you're going to cite anything from today, please cite it appropriately. So please tune in. We also need to let you know that tomorrow, we will not be here at 9 a.m. Tomorrow, I have an opportunity. I guess this is really becoming a civic engagement week. I have the opportunity. Senator Warren's office reached out and said, Jimmy, you haven't talked to the senator in a while. If you all remember the last time I did, I got to turn the sound on the audio on. So tomorrow, Java with Jimmy will be at 11 a.m. live. 11 a.m. live with Senator Warren. We will not be here at 9 a.m. We will be here at 11 a.m. with our Senator Warren live tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. So please plan to tune in as we talk with her about health equity. That has been the subject. We talked about housing and economic equity today. So equity, independent media equity. And we have some things to update and share with you all very soon about some things. So please, there've been some interesting folks trying to jump in the stream today. But anyway, all right, I'm getting off of here. Have a great day, everybody. We will see you tomorrow morning. Remember, at 11 a.m. 11 a.m., not 9, 11 a.m. tomorrow morning with Senator Warren. We will see you then. Thank you. Have a great day, all, and we shall talk to you soon. Peace.